Why does it feel right?
Tosh, do you like being a woman?
Nobody likes being a woman.
That is the most misogynistic thing that I have ever heard or seen in a video game. And the reason for it is that it's not to be played as a joke. It's not because it makes sense within the lore or the universe. Is that I genuinely believe this is the frustrations of the writer. The writer is using the characters as VTubers in order to push all of their insecurities onto the player. Now, of course, when it comes to intent, I can only speculate. But there's a lot of reasons for me to believe that this is the actual sentiment. And in order for me to articulate why I believe that it is actual sentiment, I gotta show you something first. So this is what happens if you go to a certain Codex entry within the game. You click over here, and again, if you have your own copy, today is 4th of November 2024, so they may patch this later. In fact, I'm pretty sure they will, because it's incredibly embarrassing for them. But if you go to this specific entry, you can see that they actually forgot their notes on gender ideology. And it actually is written as gender crap. Like, the writer had to put this down in order to remember. Like, imagine if you're trying to write Romeo and Juliet and you gotta have like a list of things on how people behave during romance. It's kind of like that. Like, it's incredibly embarrassing. And you go down to the list and you get to see a lot of the stuff, which basically suggests that this was forced in. Like, the writers didn't want to write this, but they were given a list of things to add to the characters. Now, before I comment on this and we go on the list, I want to say that when I saw this, I had Vietnam-like flashbacks. It actually got me back into a time when I was playing Mass Effect 1 for the first time, right? So those Vietnam-like flashbacks were actually flashbacks of nostalgia. Like, it genuinely moved me at an emotional level, because when I bought Mass Effect 1, I didn't know anything about the universe. I didn't know anything about it. It was like, it's a BioWare game. Let's see how it's like. And one of the features that the game had was the Codex. And if you went to the primary part of the Codex, not the secondary one, because that one you have to read yourself, but the primary part of the Codex, you would have an actual narrator. Like, they paid an actual voice actor, which was very talented. And he would, like, read to you. It's like, the Turians are this race that are coming from a part of the galaxy far away. Their first encounter with humanity. And it was, like, so immersive, and it was so well polished. Like they have done everything that they could in order to make the game more enjoyable. And there were parts of the lore that had nothing to do with the gameplay, but they just, like, made the universe that much richer. Like, for instance, they would be like, in combat, ships that are capable at moving beyond light speed have no reason to stay, so when they're attacked, they can easily run away. This is why ship combat is very rare. However, when attacking a planet or an important strategic resource, that's when... Like, they would talk like that, and, like, man, you would go into the Codex, and every time you got a Codex entry, you would be so hyped, because it was so immersive, it literally pulled you into that universe. So, that game was oozing polish. Everything in that game was tested, was made sure that it's fit for the customer. And now, in 2024, you have games that require more budget to make, have more people making them, have more people supervising them, and you actually have the Codex that still has the shameful leftovers in it. This is the level of quality that they think you deserve. They are going to charge you money. They expect that you pay money for a product. And this is the level of quality that they think they should forward. Now, remember when I said that it is misogyny? Well, if you actually read the notes, you realize that this is a misogyny that goes way beyond what Andrew Tate or any incel you can find on Twitter is capable of. Like, you can go on a forum with the worst incels imaginable, and even they are not capable of this level of misogyny. So, first and foremost, like, this is an actual game. Like, this is not me changing it or anything like that. This is a screenshot from the actual game, and it says, writing notes to work through gender crap. Again, the author themselves are cringing when they have to go through this. So if the author themselves are cringing, how do you expect that the customer will feel? So they're basically saying that, Marvin's pretty, track went rough. That like, this is normal. When you're writing characters, it's kind of like the baseball card. It's kind of like the vibe you want to go with, like the way the person, the character talks, what are their ambitions. But they're all both open on being trans, all right? So now you get to the interesting part where it says, could feel uncomfortable with girls who act more feminine. And it goes back to the previous conversation, right? And then you realize, like, hold on a little bit. This is pretty much what the AAA industry in the West is now. And we know this because we can compare it with the AAA industry from South Korea or China. And we can also compare it with the AAA industry before 2016. You realize that, first of all, the word female is completely removed. And we have body type A, body type B, and pronouns. Like, they do not use the word woman or female in character creations. You have the masculine jawline that a lot of people were complaining. And you also have a lot of female characters that look like men with wigs. And this is a criticism that was constantly being added, right? Like all the female characters, they look like over the age of 40 in most AAA titles. All of them have like toxic masculinity as an archetype. And all of them look very masculine. The hip to waist ratio, the jawline, like all of these things people were pointing out. And when people were pointing out these things, they were met with harsh criticism from Twitter. And people on Twitter were like, oh no, you're just gooners, you just want a goon. If you want porn, like go watch actual pornography, don't play a video game. Like every single time you would say like, the characters in Concord, they look off to me, they don't look good. It's like, oh, so you just want pornography, is that it? Or if you would say, yeah, this female character looks like she's in her 50s. Oh, so you're a pedophile, that's why you like anime. You just want them really young. Like, constant attacks, right? Like, constant attacks on sexuality, constantly calling people that were criticizing the art style to be incels, to be gooners, to be like everything bad in order to get them to stop the criticism. So why did they want you to stop the criticism? Well, they want you to stop the criticism because they want themselves to be happy. This is it. Like, they want to be happy, but their happiness has to come at the extent of other people's suffering. They want other people not to enjoy entertainment. They want you to shut up and put up with the ugly Concord-like characters, with the Dustboard-like characters. Like, they want you to be miserable so that they can find happiness. And it's really sad when you think about it, because what they want is the removal of femininity from entertainment. They don't want to see it in TV shows. They don't want to see it in video games. This is why they're upset about anime. They do not want to see sensuality. They do not see wholesomeness because it makes them uncomfortable. This is literally their wording. We gotta look behind the screen. This is coming from a AAA company that has inclusivity officers and people that are trained in the academia and know about these things far better than I will ever know. And this is a look behind the curtain. It validates everything that we've been talking up till now. Everything makes sense. All of their decisions make sense. This is why they're upset when you remove the pronouns in a game through a mod. This is why Nexus mod bans it. This is why they're upset when Heels versus Babyface makes a rant about current daying the video game. This is why they really hate Synthetic Man. This is why they hate grooms. It's not because they find these people cringe or funny. Like, for instance, I find flat earthers to be cringe and funny, but you don't see me making videos attacking them on a daily basis. You don't see me trying to get them flagged or taken off the internet or whatever. I find Andrew Tate to be cringe and funny. You don't see me do anything to him. But the reason these people are upset is not because they find them cringe and funny, it's because they actually find them effective. They're finding that them highlighting these issues is making them even more uncomfortable because their expectations is that if you remove femininity from art, if you remove femininity from entertainment, toxic masculinity becomes more accepted. But in reality, people are rejecting the toxic masculinity and they're rejecting the entertainment. And they're basically saying, okay, I really love Dragon Age, but if you're going to make it like this, I don't want it anymore. And that's what terrifies them. That's what shocks them, because they thought that this is going to be a push to make it more inclusive, to make it more accepted, to make it so that femininity takes a sidestep, and instead, like, people are going to like women that are muscle mommies and toxic masculinity induced personalities and all this stuff. And it's just not happening. People are telling them no. And that is the reason that they are so upset, that they're attacking and they're constantly, using their little metaphorical spears to go like, racist, Cooper, Gooder. Notice how before 2016, if you had a video game like Stellar Blade coming out, no one would complain. Like, no one would say anything. It's just like, well, it's a video game character. Of course she looks like that. And you're probably going to see women cosplaying. And you go to a gaming convention and you see boof babes and no one bats an eyelid. It's like, well, this is gaming culture, right? Nowadays, it's borderline pornographic. Like if you look at certain commercials that were on television before 2014, where you have like sexy women, people on Twitter are losing their shit. They're like, oh, this is horrible. Because if you're a straight man with like any type of functioning sex drive, they try to create the illusion that you're being pathological, that this is not normal, this is not how people act. And instead they expect that either you keep quiet about it, like you feel shame about it, or that you join the side that believe in this stuff. And the reality is, like, not a lot of people believe in this stuff. No, like, most people do not think it's okay for you to feel uncomfortable if a girl acts more feminine. That's a you issue. That's something you have to struggle. Why is it that everyone else has to adapt? Why is it that women have to be less feminine instead of, like, you accepting that women can be feminine? You shouldn't be uncomfortable if women are more feminine, just like you shouldn't be uncomfortable if other people are more masculine. But this is what we're dealing with, and it's really great that this got leaked. I feel validated. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.
Why does it feel right?
Tosh, do you like being a woman?
Nobody likes being a woman.